Recording in progress.
Yeah, we're ready to go on my side.
Yep, we're on.
Okay, welcome to the Chatham Township Committee meeting. This meeting is called to order at 7:30 p.m. on March 21st, 2023. Greg, has adequate notice been given to the public?
Yes, adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act as follows. Notice was given to both the Chatham Courier and the Morris County Daily Record on January 4th, 2023. Notice was posted on the bulletin board in the main hallway of the municipal building on January 4th, 2023. And notice was filed with the Township Clerk on January 4th, 2023.
Great, can we get a roll call?
Mr. Choi? Mrs. Ewald?
Here.
Mr. Lois?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Hamilton?
Here.
And Mayor Fleece.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, now I'm going to move straight into the approval of the consent agenda. Does
The
anybody
record will
want?
show that Mr. Choi's here.
Yes, please make that note. Anybody want to take anything out of the consent agenda?
Yes, and I haven't looked at the most recent copy, so let me just check. But the we have a new last resolution. No, let me check the number. Did we take out the resolution 2023-085 already? Okay.
Yes.
Or it's non-consent agenda. Oh, it's already out for discussion. Got it, okay.
No, it's, that's a different one.
Oh, okay. Oh, 085, the number was changed. Got it. All right, so the original one was taken out.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Not from me.
So did we end up getting anything yet?
From this agenda right here, not yet. Anybody want anything removed?
Mr. Hamilton, are you asking, have we removed anything since this agenda was circulated earlier today? The answer is yes.
That's
No.
correct.
I'm asking whether or not anybody needs to remove anything that's on this agenda that's right in front of it.
Anybody removing anything else? Going. All right. All right, so now I'm gonna move into Township Committee reports. Committeeman Choi?
Do we have to approve the consent agenda?
No, we do that after. Committeeman Choi, do you have a report?
Well, I can update briefly with regard to recreation. We had provided some guidelines for the township to engage with the borough as to proposed terms for reinstituting a joint services agreement. Mr. Shahadi, I don't know if you've got an update on that.
Not for public.
Okay. So I guess it's continuance on that one.
Okay. Committeewoman Ewald, do you have any reports?
Sure. The Municipal Alliance Committee of the Chathams has a couple of programs coming up I wanted to make residents aware of. On April 24th, there's a parent workshop called Under Pressure, Are We Pushing Our Kids Too Hard? So I would definitely recommend that. And then there's also a program, Put Life Back in Your Life, Take Control of Your Health. If you have conditions such as diabetes, arthritis, high blood pressure, heart disease, chronic pain, or anxiety, it's a free 2.5-hour program held each week for 6 weeks to take back your life. And that starts April 11th. So if you're interested in those programs, you can email me and I'll give you the contact information. And I'm sewald@chathamtownship.org. The Historical Society met, and they want to make us aware there's the Pathways of History museum tours, 27 museums and site tours on Saturday, May 6th and Sunday, May 7th from 12 to 5 are open, including our Red Brick Schoolhouse. And I did want to let residents know they are working on, the Historical Society is working on their long-term plan and their strategic plan. So if anybody has any input they'd like to provide, please send that to them. And then the final piece, the Senior Center, their shred event is April 22nd, so please support them. That's at the middle school. They also are having a sneaker collection, which was very successful last year. Garden tour is June 3rd, and Fishwack is June 10th, so they will be there as well.
Great, thank you. Committeeman Lois, do you have a report?
Sure. Happy to announce, or to just remind people that membership is open for Colony Pool. This is the early bird period, so this is the lowest rates of the season. That ends on March 31st, so about 10 days out. The positions, there are positions still open at the pool, so that would be guard, skate, management, swim team, swim lessons. So if you're interested in that or know someone who is, we are actively seeking applicants for all positions at the pool. For under recreation, Mr. Choi and I have been working on the matter he was talking about, but in addition, under the umbrella of recreation, which also touches utilities, we've also been working on New Jersey American Water Grant. They have a generous grant program, and we've been working on that together. So that's been productive. And then the other thing is, and this is not exactly under our under any of the committees that I'm on, but Mr. Choi and I both attended the EMS dinner on Saturday, and that is a wonderful, that was an installation dinner for their new officers and positions, and so congratulations to Mrs. Erin Skinner, and also
Sorry, it's Evan Skinner, just to, Evan Skinner.
Evan Skinner,
Yeah.
Evan Skinner, and Dina Cola, I believe, also is their captain. So
Nicole DiMaggio.
No, Nicole DiMaggio, sorry, and thank you for that, appreciate that. So they were both installed, but they recapped some of the wonderful things that they do for the community, and one of the things that really stuck out to me was they went on 1,400 calls last year. And what's amazing about that is those 1,400 calls, some of them were required the on-duty crew, some of them required the assistance from a backup crew, and a smaller number, in the dozens, in about a dozen, required 3 crews, and they were able to fully respond to all the emergencies and in the township in 2022. And in fact, they're so effective at responding to the emergencies that dispatch calls them the freak of nature. They learned that. So Morris County runs a centralized county dispatch, and our EMS squad is so effective that that's how they refer to them amongst all the other towns and all the other squads that they deal with, because they're so effective. So it's a very impressive organization. It's well run, and obviously deserving of our support. And in that support, they are about to go public with their fundraising for their new emergency response center, which is in the same location as the existing one, and so the public will be hearing more from them about that very shortly. But it's definitely a worthy cause and a worthy group.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Hamilton?
Thank you, and thanks for that update. Committee Member Lois on the emergency squad, couldn't agree more, and encourage everybody to support that organization. The library of the Chathams had its annual Friends of the Library book sale earlier this month, which there's usually a ceremony at some point to disclose the actual numbers that I can preview for you, are very good once again. So that's a major fundraiser for the Friends of the Library, and thanks to everybody who came out and supported it. As far as the redevelopment at the library, you have heard previously about the phase 1 plan to construct a new teen center in the library, that we now are really sort of moving forward with that, and have at least a target date of completion of September of this year, although the people in charge were very clear to say, because of the supply chain issues that we all hear about building materials, it could take a little bit longer than that, but they're hoping to definitely have it completed by the end of the year. So we look forward to that. And also currently they have set up a temporary sort of pre-teen center in what is currently known as the Women's Club Room in the basement, and it's open now for our community teenagers. So utilize that resource.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm going to move on to the hearing of citizens. Currently, the committee meeting room is open to the public, and we look forward to having you join us. Additionally, this meeting is being made available for public participation remotely. If you're watching via Zoom, you may speak during the public comment session by following the Zoom instructions to raise your hand, whether in person or online. When you are recognized to speak, please say your name, spell your last name, and give your street number. As a reminder, all public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Rather than use any of your time answering questions, we will wait until you finish speaking before responding. Each member of the public will be limited to 1 comment during the public comment period. Written comments submitted to the Township Clerk before 3 p.m. today will be read during the public comment sessions. Written comments are subject to the same guidelines as oral comments. Duplicative written comments may be summarized rather than read in full according to the guidelines issued by the New Jersey Division of Local Government Services. Was there any written comments?
No written comments.
Okay. I do not see anybody here. Is there anybody online?
We do not have any hands raised at this time.
All right. Anybody? All right. Well, then I'm going to close the hearing of citizens and move on to the introduction of ordinances. So we will be, can I get a motion to introduce ordinance 2023-04 impervious coverage clarification?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, I just had a question. We just got this today, so I wanted to make sure the guts of it was provided by John Rushke, because he was the one that gave guidance on this in terms of what the change needed to be.
The change is verbatim.
Okay,
And I ran it past the attorney for the planning board, who agreed with those changes.
okay, thank you.
Can you give us a little explanation, or Z or Pete, one of you guys, give us a little explanation of why we're doing this?
Yeah, there was
So the microphone.
issue with regard to.
Pete, microphone.
There was an issue with regard to impervious coverage, and how it's thought of, and how it's seen in that ordinance. So there was clarification, for it, by the underlying language. It's really the porous construction material. So there's that confusion that is porous construction material impervious? And theoretically, water maybe could go through some of it, but it still is considered impervious coverage. So,
We just want to make that
engineer-
clarify that.
Yep, and the town engineer took the definition from the the municipal land use definition itself, so it's more consistent.
Great, thank you. Can anybody else have any comments on this?
Yeah, just one, and you previewed the answer to it before I asked it, but as far as the definition goes, that he took from the thing, is that clearly stated in here?
Well, so the
Or does it
definition.
need to be? It says upon review of the definitions.
So these definitions were taken from the existing ordinance, and the underlined section in the ordinance is what we're adding, and that's consistent with the municipal land use definition of impervious coverage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe my question was a different one. I'm wondering whether porous construction material has a definition in the municipal land use law.
That I can't answer. I would have to find out. I don't believe it does, but it's considered porous construction. You have some bricks that they're not cemented in, or they're not used that material that does not allow water to go through.
No, I know what it is, but, I'm also looking ahead to people saying that they don't know what it is.
Is it necessary to define that further?
I believe that based upon John Ruskey's review of the definition, that the porous construction material is not a unique word, but a common understood word and definition.
I guess in the first instance, it would be up to our professionals or whatever to determine if looking at a site plan or something and say, that's porous construction material.
Yes.
And then the builder or whoever would have it on them to try and say that it wasn't, I guess.
Yeah, I have one issue with this, which is where it says shall mean building structures, pavement, porous construction materials, or other improvements which prevent normal groundwater absorption. So if I was to sort of strongman this argument against this, I would say those porous materials do not prevent normal groundwater absorption. In fact, they enhance. According to one applicant that we had, it is more porous and than groundwater, than regular ground cover. So
I think that's clear in the language, because it's defining impervious improvements shall mean building structures, pavement, porous construction materials, comma,
yeah, but
or
this says,
other improvements which prevent normal groundwater. So it's not,
I would
it's not
consider-
defined by normal, that it's preventing normal ground.
Yeah.
Agreed. I would say that porous construction material is one thing, and other improvements which prevent normal
Yeah.
groundwater absorption is something else.
There's a clear
Sure.
comma.
Yeah.
I can accept that.
Yeah.
I have a much bigger problem with this, which is on the second whereas sentence, clarity has a typo in it, should be clarify with an F. It says clarity, should be clarify.
Much bigger,
It's a much bigger objection. It's a second whereas.
All
It's
right.
just a minor typo.
So as amended.
Any other comments? All right, can we move on to a vote to introduce ordinance 2023-04?
as amended.
As amended?
So importantly.
Thank you.
Mr. Choi?
Yes.
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hamilton?
Yes.
And Mayor Felice?
Yes.
Motion passes. Public hearing will be on April 25th, which fortunately is enough time for the planning board to do their master plan consistency review.
Great. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the public hearing. The first one is for ordinance 2023-01 cap bank ordinance. Was there any written comments on this?
No, I haven't received any written comments at all.
Okay, I still see nobody here from the public. Is there anybody online that wants to
We
chime in?
don't have any hands raised.
Okay. Anybody? All right, so I'm gonna close this public hearing, and then I think we need to postpone the adoption vote on this ordinance until next meeting, so that we have a better understanding of the budget at that time. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and just move straight into ordinance 2023-02, the car theft ordinance. Can I open the public hearing of citizens on this ordinance? Was there any written comments?
Well, if we're gonna table that, we need to just vote on that.
No, we don't.
Put it,
We can carry it,
Mhm.
so you don't have to, renotice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're at the public hearing of citizens for the car theft ordinance. Anybody want to speak? Anybody online? I'm seeing no one in person.
Nothing online.
No written comments.
No written.
All right, I will close that hearing of citizens. And can I get a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-02 car theft ordinance?
So moved.
Is there a second? Anybody? Anybody seconding the?
I will second that.
Okay, is there any discussion? All right, can I move to a vote?
Mr. Choi?
We are voting on the car theft?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hamilton?
Yes.
And Mayor Felice?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, now on to ordinance 2023-03, parking on Southern Boulevard. We're gonna first have the hearing of citizens. Any written?
Nothing written.
I see nobody here. Is there anybody, any hands raised?
No hands raised.
Anybody? All right, we'll go ahead and close that hearing and I get a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-03 parking on Southern Boulevard.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, any discussion? And a roll call.
Mr. Troy?
Yes.
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hamilton?
Yes.
And Mayor Fleece.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, I'm gonna move right into the consent agenda, since we're not pulling anything out. Can I get a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
And a roll call.
Mr. Troy?
Yes.
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hamilton?
Yes.
And Mayor Fleece.
Yes.
Motion passes.
So this last resolution was added at the last minute because, I mean, you could say it, I was just gonna say, essentially, this is for, documents related to 522 Southern Boulevard closing. I am already authorized to sign it as the mayor, but I wanted to affirm that since it was done years ago. So that's why it was added at the very last minute, and I apologize because I don't like adding anything last minute, but that's the reason why. It was kind of an unnecessary resolution, but just as a
Mayor,
double
I think we
CYA.
received it from the attorney,
Yeah.
literally at, I think, 30, almost 2:33.
Yeah, they've been negotiating.
Yeah,
development.
and you probably could have gotten away with not having this resolution, but it's always cleaner to have a resolution with the documents that you're gonna execute.
Right.
And in addition, again, you were not the mayor at that time when the original agreement came in, so this is just cleaner. It brings it back, it's more transparent.
Yeah.
And it is for the closing, for the fair share housing obligation of the old Charlie Brown's property. And closing those documents, there's many other agreements that allow you to do that, but this is just the cleaner.
Yeah, I went back and read the other agreements that still allowed me to do it, but just as a double, making sure everything is clean and good, we wanted to add this at the last minute. Is there a motion to adopt resolution 2023-0085?
So moved.
Second.
Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Troy?
I'm sorry, I have a question about this.
Mrs. Ewald?
Wait, no.
My question is just,
Waiting for
when
you.
is the closing?
So we're working to have the closing by the end of this month. These documents were essentially the last piece, so as soon as they're done, our attorney will be coordinating with the title company to schedule the closing.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hamilton?
Yes.
And Mayor Fleece.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, going back now to the final hearing of citizens. Anybody want to speak this evening? I see nobody here. Anybody on,
No hands raised.
nobody
Spring
wants to
break
speak
week?
this evening. I guess
No,
it's,
they're back.
right, all right. Well, then I will close the hearing of citizens. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
Actually, Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
Coming out of the gates a little slow today. So if I can just go back to ordinance 2023-01, Cap Bank ordinance. So this was added to the agenda, and so I've got some familiarity with it, but admittedly, I wasn't here for.
No,
the
we're-
meeting.
we're postponing that.
Yep, okay, but I'm not sure. Can I get some clarification on why it's on the agenda? I'm
Right,
not sure why
because,
why is
we
it on the
wanted
agenda
more-
if we're not voting on it.
Because it's a final, we had the public hearing of it.
Mayor, if I may answer that?
Yeah,
When it was introduced, it was publicly announced that there would be a public hearing tonight, and that was legally advertised, so due to that, we were legally obligated to have said public hearing tonight for the public to have their chance to speak on it. Obviously, no one did, but we have.
So
been
then you
set as-
cannot move to vote for it?
We can vote anytime. We could have voted tonight, or you could have voted at a future meeting, but, tonight was the advertised, legally noticed hearing, public hearing on said ordinance, which is why it was on the agenda.
Okay.
So
And
we
if
were
I heard
bound
it
by the-
correctly, it was to afford time
For the
for the
public to speak on
budget
it.
to be made
To
available?
look, to-
If I may.
Go,
may,
thank you.
So by law, the cap bank ordinance, if it's gonna be adopted, has to be
Right.
adopted before the budget. There were concerns about the necessity of the cap bank and increasing the cap levy, the appropriations cap, as well.
Right.
So in order to have a more informed conversation on that, so that way you can all vote as to whether it is necessary or not, the finance committee and I and the CFO are working through the budget process.
Okay.
That way we can actually give you an impact, whether it's necessary or not, and then you can actually vote on it. So because the process has not moved that far along in order to, tell you where we stand on the appropriations, the mayor is postponing the vote on this until such that time.
But the cap bank is for the following 2 years.
So the cap
you're
bank
not gonna
ordinance is
have it.
actually a twofold ordinance. They can be
Right.
split up into two. It's just titled here as cap bank
My
ordinance.
read of it is for the next 2 years, isn't it?
No, so it's titled as cap bank ordinance, but it actually means two different things. The first one is increasing the appropriations cap
Right.
above the ordinary, or
2.5.
rather to the cost of living adjustment that the state allows us to.
Yes.
The second part is banking that unused portion. So that unused portion is what you're talking about for the 2 years, but there are essentially two things in this cap bank ordinance. One is, do we want to adjust the appropriation levy, the appropriation cap? And then the second part is, do we want to bank the unused portion of that if it wasn't used?
And so this ordinance -01
Correct.
is for the municipality to be authorizing the increase.
The increase and the banking.
And the banking.
And the banking, correct. So you can split them up. So if you look at ordinance 2023-01, there are,
So if I
Two
can stop you
ordains?
for just a
Yes,
second,
sure.
Mr. Shoddy.
Yep.
So what, in the interest of moving governmental matters forward and
Yep.
and leaving things on agendas, what information are we waiting for? Why not vote on it today? What are we waiting for next month?
I don't wanna vote on it yet. I'll be, honestly,
Okay.
I don't wanna vote on it yet because I haven't seen the budget yet. And I don't feel comfortable doing that until I've seen the budget.
And theoretically, what in the budget would sway you
But
one
would
way or
cha-
the other?
the
The
appropriations.
appropriations, yeah.
So if, for example, right here, it says that, the appropriations, if we were to increase it based off of the COLA, the adjustment from the state.
This is
that-
a zero cost option. This is not a vote to say we are in fact increasing it.
Correct, I
It
agree.
is the option to do so.
Correct.
Yes.
Right, which costs us nothing to do. So we can either exercise that option in the event of a scenario that mandates it or would
Correct.
be beneficial, or we don't.
I'm not advocating for you to adopt it or not adopt it tonight,
Yeah.
or take the vote. I'm simply explaining
So
the
it-
sequence of
We're
events.
not precluded to increase it if we don't need it.
Yeah, Mike, I totally get what you're saying. I think what Mayor Felice is looking for is just the opportunity to have that debate next time after she's seen the budget. So in my mind, I have all the same questions and comments you have. That dialogue has to take place. She's just asking if we could postpone it.
I wanted to
Okay.
postpone it until I saw the budget and how the appropriations, came about.
Okay, fair enough.
That's all. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn? Did we have it? All right, can I get a motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, have a good evening. Nice and quick meeting this evening. Thank you, everyone.
I don't know what to do now.
Recording stopped.
You see me walking?
Oh.
It went well, it was started out